Welcome back to the Getting Closure podcast. I'm James. I'm here with Cheryl Stainsby, who's the director of Your Directors Advocate. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, James. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, Cheryl. Look, a question, though, that comes to mind is, say you've got a company and you've got a debt and you've not paid it. Now, maybe you haven't got quite enough money, or you don't agree on the amount, or there's been a dispute. What kind of let's talk about like the communication and the process that can go. I'm the person who owes the debt. What can I expect to start coming at me the longer the debt's outstanding?
Well, James, I guess there's a number of ways that people can communicate with you the fact that you owe them money. And I guess probably one of the initial ways that people would communicate that is they might send you an email telling you that you haven't paid your invoice. If you ignore that email, then maybe they will send you some sort of an official letter.
Is it an official looking letter, or is it on a credit, is it like a credit agency letter, or on letterhead saying you owe us money? You're saying you'd expect anything that looks official, that says pay me money.
Yeah, you might. They might have some templates that look like debt collection letters.
Yeah, gotcha.
They might engage a debt collection agency. They might engage a lawyer to send you a letter of demand. So a letter of demand is the first step. That's basically saying to us, you owe us money. And if you dispute that fact, if you don't agree with them, then it's usually a matter of writing back or ringing them and saying, look, no, I've paid it. Here's where I've paid it. No, I don't agree with you. Can I enter into a payment plan? If you don't have enough money to pay that debt and you ignore that letter, then generally speaking, you could expect that that creditor may take things to the next level.
So it sounds like there's a fair bit in this, Cheryl. So why don't we sort of do this kind of step by step? So what we could do today is we'll talk about letters of demand and phone calls and things like that. So in your experience, what are people sort of seeing and getting before things really start, the screws start to tighten? So you said there's a major credit card company. You're saying that they can phone, if you ignore them, they can phone you as much as they like, can't they? They can phone you heaps.
They can, and quite often credit card companies, banks, even some telcos like Telstra, they'll outsource their debt collection, and they'll outsource debt collection to people maybe in overseas offshore centres, and some of those offshore centres will call you 10, 20 times a day. And anybody that's had a debt with a credit card will often have experienced that. Under the regulations, if you don't answer their call, they can call you as many times a day as they want to. But if you answer their call, then it's my understanding that they're only allowed to call you 3 times a week.
Right, so there's a benefit to it. So ignoring it, the whole thing about ignoring it and go it away, which is we often talk about in these podcasts, is another reason. If you pretend that it doesn't exist, that gives an opportunity for them to keep hassling you. They can send you letters, you're saying, and then some of these letters can look quite official, or they can say some pretty sort of, kind of intimidating sort of things. So threatening your credit rating and all that sort of stuff. So, okay, I'm the director of a business that owes money. I've started getting the phone calls, and I've now received a fairly official-looking, nasty sort of letter. Where's that in the scheme of things? And we'll talk about this in successive episodes. But so where am I now? What do I do now? I've just got a letter of demand. I've got some phone calls. Am I speaking? Do I get advice, or what do I do? So what's my steps?
Well, I think it depends on what your ability is to pay the debt. If you have the ability to pay the debt, if you believe that you can pay the debt, then you should ring that creditor and you should enter into a payment arrangement. If you don't believe that you can pay the debt, then I think we're getting into the area now of, are you trading insolvently? And now you need to seek some advice. You need to talk to your accountant, maybe your lawyer. You need to seek some advice as to what your next steps are.
Yeah, and mindful of the fact that some of these letters in their initial phases might sound threatening, but some of them have got a bit more bit more bark than bite in the initial phase.
That's
but
right.
we'll go on to the next episode where things can, the screws can slowly tighten. Okay, well, stay with us and we'll go on to what happens next. A reminder that these podcasts are general in nature and do not constitute advice, and they don't take into account your personal circumstances. So if you think, though, that some of the issues raised might apply to you, you should seek qualified financial, legal or counselling advice.